The first scream came from inside the cave. Not an animal, not a war cry, just pain, raw, human, and close. It was March of 1793, near the banks of the Caney Fork River in the Tennessee wilderness. A militia patrol under Colonel George Dougherty had tracked signs of a Chickamauga Cherokee raiding party, burned cabins, slaughtered livestock, and a child's shoe abandoned in the mud. The trail led here, to a cave the locals already feared. They called it Bone Cave. Some said it had been used for burials long before any settler crossed the mountains, a place where the dead outnumbered the living. The mouth yawned black and wide beneath a limestone bluff, damp air curling out of it like breath. The patrol didn't wait for daylight. They advanced with flintlocks raised and torches lit. They expected ambush. They expected arrows. But they didn't expect the earth to swallow them. When the first shot rang out from inside the cave, Dougherty's men surged forward. Some were hit immediately, screaming, stumbling, blood soaking through homespun wool. Others pushed deeper, stepping over the bodies of their own. Inside, the cave turned to chaos. The entrance sloped down into blackness. Stone narrowed around them. The air was thick with smoke and the stink of sweat, wet rock, and rot. Musket fire echoed so violently off the walls that no one knew where it came from. The men couldn't see 10 feet ahead. They fired blindly. Some missed and hit each other. A young militiaman named Harlan was shot through the stomach. By accident. He bled for an hour in the dark, curled up in mud, crying for his mother. No one came for him. Others tripped on jagged stone or slid into deeper pits. One man shattered his knee in a fall. Another broke his lantern and screamed as the darkness swallowed him whole. The Cherokee warriors moved silently. They knew the cave. They used the shadows. Some militia swore they saw figures slip through cracks in the rock, then vanish, only to appear again behind them. Knives came out of nowhere. Arrows struck from holes in the wall. In the pitch black, the fear turned primal. Men screamed for help, for water, for God. Some tried to crawl back toward the entrance, dragging themselves through slime, wounded and wild-eyed, ears still ringing from the last shot. A few never found the way back. Later, when torches were relit near the surface, survivors emerged with torn uniforms and blackened skin. One sobbed uncontrollably. Another had clawed his own arm down to the bone, thinking something was crawling on him. Their hands were scraped raw, some bleeding from the knuckles. One man hadn't said a word since. Inside, the smell of blood and powder lingered in the stillness. Silence returned, but no one called it peace. The militia set fire to the brush at the cave's mouth and waited with rifles ready. No one came out. The smoke poured in, curling through the passageways, and whatever had survived deeper inside, if anything, never showed itself again. When settlers later explored the cave, they found the name wasn't just a story. Bones littered the floor, animal, human, some freshly broken, others ancient, polished smooth by time. They found arrowheads, charred wood, a rusted musket barrel, and dark stains on the rock that never washed out. The cave had held violence long before that battle, and it would hold it long after. The militia claimed it a victory, but no one who went inside believed that. They'd seen too much, heard too much. The sound of boots slipping on wet stone, of lungs wheezing in smoke, of men begging not to be left behind. One remembered a Cherokee voice, calm, just behind him in the dark, whispering something he didn't understand before slicing his arm open and vanishing again. They buried their dead outside the cave. Some they never found. Just empty names carved into crude stone. And over time, the place became legend. Hunters claimed to hear breathing in the cave when it should have been still. Others said the wind howling through the rocks sounded like men dying all over again. But for those who fought there, Bone Cave was no ghost story. It was a hole in the earth where men crawled in alive and came back broken, if they came back at all. And even now, the bones are still down there. Thank you for listening to Deserted Trails. Subscribe for more forgotten stories from the old frontier.